And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the Bloom, episode 301. Coming at you on a Tuesday night, talking all 400s ADP teams. A little different twist on what we do. We did post 500 recently. We're going to show you how rough ADP 400 through 499 is in the draft room. Talk about that, some recent news, and much, much more. But before we get to that, you can find me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, and on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at RyanBHQ. Ryan Bluefield, how we doing, my friend?
Doing great, man. Just got done berating your roster construction on your team that we're in the same draft in. I wish we recorded that one. That would have been pretty funny. Doing good. We are Oregon is like flooded as a state.
Jesus.
Multiple atmospheric rivers are in here, so ton of rain lately, but that's fine. You don't need rain to draft, so I'm good.
Good to hear. Good to hear that you're doing well. Every time we have rain on the long-term forecast, it seems to disappear, unfortunately. So I wish we were getting rain. That'd be great in this neck of the woods. But we're getting cold for our standards. It's hot during the day and cold at night. So California is what I can say. California weather.
Golfable.
If I had the time to do so, yes. That and my back's all messed up. So yeah, that's where we
are. Oh yeah, back.
Oh yeah, on Saturday it just went out of nowhere. So yeah, when I get up from the recording, it takes me about 5 minutes to stretch things out again. I'm gonna feel like death when I get out of this chair.
God.
But yeah, I don't know. Getting old's fun.
Damn,
couldn't even tell you how it happened. But yeah,
that's tough. I'm dealing with some kind of elbow tightness, like legitimately. Elbow's all messed up. I don't know if it's like a UCL. I think it's tennis elbow. I don't know. Well, it's bad though. I don't know. I try to lift up my kids and like I drop them in pain.
Yeah, that's not good. I had something similar to that right before FPAS, and I was worried about golf. But
yeah, I did a couple practice swings. I'm like, I don't know how this will go.
Yeah, no, I played in a scramble before FPAS, and I couldn't even hit my driver. If anything short range, I was fine. Full swings, not good. Not good at all. So
that's normal though.
It's true. That's true. Hey, but you saw the scrambling abilities that I have, and it was beautiful.
I did.
So,
yeah.
A little bit of housekeeping for you listeners out there. There will be no live show on Thursday. We're pre-recording it. It's our yearly Baseball HQ episode. So we have a couple guests joining us to talk about the forecaster, and we have our good buddy Tom on to talk about the foreign crop of players coming our way. So a lot of good news we dropping for you guys later on Thursday evening. Just nothing live for you on Thursday.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We had Tom on last year. He's a hoot. So he'll be back on, and then we'll have Zach Larson on, who I met at First Pitch Arizona. It's his second year doing the forecaster, and excited for that one as well. So yeah, that'll be good. I think in the past we've done 2 episodes. This year to squeeze in 1, but get our forecaster fix as the book is shipping, I think, later this week. So keep an eye out.
Yep, keep an eye out on that. And real soon, not exactly sure if it's Tuesday or not, but real soon, we're starting our positional previews much earlier than usual. We're kind of talking about that after last episode. So we'll get you guys really going for the 2026 draft season earlier than usual because we got a lot coming up to squeeze in before opening day, which sounds weird. It's December 9th, but there's a lot coming your way on the Bubba and the Bloom podcast. Let's talk some news, Ryan. Hot stove. It is heating up. I thought it was going to be nuclear hot after this morning. It's okay, but it started out with a bang. Kyle Schwarber re-signs with the Philadelphia Phillies, 5-year deal. That's not as important to us now. But to me, this is just, cool, great spot. Doesn't affect a whole lot in my mind.
Exactly. If anything, for me, this is what you would want if you're taking Schwarber in the first or second round or whatever. And, there is at least a smidge of risk if Schwarber goes somewhere else. So Schwarber going back to his usual spot, likely near the top of Philly's lineup. I mean, that's another thing that again is cemented in is maybe some other teams would drop Schwarber to 3rd or 4th or something. I'd rather have Schwarbs up at 1 or 2. So not much changes on Schwarber's outlook, but nice to get him in. Nice to see saw the Reds were kind of in. I saw the Orioles match the offer, and I saw
the Pirates.
were
Same AAV,
actually,
just one fewer year. So
yeah,
like I'll give him credit. You know, the old joke of, oh, we were in on some. Well, they were actually in on him. I'll give them that much.
it's nice to see some other teams involved in potential signings other than let's
Yeah.
segue to our next news item.
You're turning into a pro there, Ryan. Turning into a pro. Look at you. It took 301 episodes. He knows
I
how to
just want to
rile me
piss you
up.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he knows how to
exactly. I
rile
don't
me
care
up.
about
That's the best of
segue. I
them.
just want to piss you off.
That team that wears blue and white in Southern California, the Dodgers. Well, it's crazy to say that a team had a weakness after winning their second consecutive World Series, but the Dodgers' weakness was their bullpen. And on paper, they just shored that up. They signed Edwin Diaz to a 3-year deal to be the closer in LA. That obviously moves Tanner Scott out of closing duties. Edwin Diaz, over the last 10 drafts since November 9th, he's the second closer off the board after Andres Munoz right before Mason Miller. Not sure that changes a ton. But what's your thoughts on Edwin Diaz to LA's? Everyone, the initial reaction was RP1, RP1, RP1.
Yeah, that was what I was seeing everywhere on Twitter. I don't know. Yeah, that I will say that upper tier, that cream of the crop for relievers, got a lot more stable this week with Edwin Diaz signing with LA, with the news that Mason Miller would stay in the bullpen in San Diego. So I don't really know what the 1-2-3, 3-2-1, 2-1-3 order is between those guys, but obviously the Dodgers are going to win a ton of games. I would think Edwin Diaz. I'm curious. I mean, you follow the Dodgers more than I do, mostly just out of hatred.
Obviously, follows a loose term, but yes.
What's your guy like? Do you think your guy is going to keep Roberts in the ninth?
My God, yes, Edwin Diaz is the closer. He's not signing in LA not to close. Like, that's his role. Now, if he's out, it's because what happened like 2 years ago in New York where he struggled and they removed him from the role. He went on the IL, different factors involved there. But if he's the usual Edwin Diaz, one of the top closers in baseball, I don't see. Well, let me rephrase that. David Roberts isn't the smartest manager in the world, but that's what you're waiting for, wasn't it? He should be the closer for like 99% of like save opportunities this year.
Okay. I think so too. Also, clears up Devin Williams with the Mets, I think. I mean, I think that was the domino we were waiting for, is really not, do the Mets sign another high leverage arm? They could very well do that. It was really, do they sign Edwin Diaz? That was really the only threat, in my opinion, to Devin Williams having the ninth for the Mets. So this, for me, helps Devin Williams' stock more than it does Edwin Diaz's. I still like Diaz more than Williams. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the kind of the safety of Williams' role now seems to be a lot more secure.
A lot more secure. I know, like, we were both excited about Devin Williams this season just because of what we saw last year, and he's better than he was type thing. This should lock him into it. The Mets did come out and say that he is their closer right now. Again, they could be shopping, like Robert Suarez is linked to Toronto and the Mets right now. So we'll have to kind of still play that by ear. I still think it's Devin Williams' world, and we're just living in it. I'm curious to see, using your ADP tracker as things change in the next few drafts, because he was still sticking around 88 ADP wise, which is like 50 picks off of the elite tier. I don't think he's that far off talent wise. So, like, as of now, if you're still getting him in the 80s, that seems to be a pretty nice perceived value with Devin Williams.
You will not get that anymore. So I updated the ADP tracker today. 5 drafts today. Devin Williams, 73, 59, 66, 51, 67. So you are not getting Devin Williams anymore in the 80s.
I was just about to say, I think he ends up in the 50-ish range. So that answers that question right there. Yep. So he's just outside the top like 3 or 4 dudes. He's now probably like 6-ish, something like that, when it comes to relief pitchers, which that checks out. I'm fully cool with that. So, yeah, this is like we joke about it usually. It's like, oh, this is why we draft early. Well, this is one very good reason why we draft early certain times. Now, will it pay out in the end? Who knows? But it's like he's mentioned Ryan Helsley last episode. He ballooned up boards. Just little things like this change. One change that might be coming soon, Kyle Finnegan. He re-signed with the Detroit Tigers shortly before this show began. So East Coasters are going to wake up to the news, potentially, of Kyle Finnegan being a Detroit Tiger. It's kind of a mixed bag for me because I like Will Vest a lot, and we saw how that went last year. It was like Vest was going great. Then they brought Finnegan in, and they kind of gave it to Finnegan, and then he got hurt. And Vest took it back, and then It's kind of back. Like we joked about it in Fab shows. It's like whoever you sat got the 2 saves that week. That's just what it turned into. And I don't know if that's really going to change this year, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know. My gut says it will be more like a 75-25 for Finnegan. Would be my gut. I obviously have no inside information to support that, but it did seem like Detroit wanted Finnegan to be the guy until, like you said, he got hurt. But I think this is a really good landing spot for Finnegan. There were a ton of other teams where Finnegan could have signed with that would not even be a conversation in the 9th. And also, I mean, Kyle Finnegan was actually really good, like legitimately skills like improved a ton. I think it was more split fingers that Detroit had Finnegan throw. In the second half last year, Finnegan's swinging strike went from 9.6 in the first up to 14% with an almost 30% carry in the second half last year. You have some pitch mix stuff to back that up. I'm not saying Kyle Finnegan's going to be a leader or anything, but I think he could be really good. And I think Detroit, as long as they hold on to Tarek Skubal, this season, I think could get a good number of wins and save chances. So I think really good for Finnegan. I think if you have Will Vest, which I do have out of my 3 draft and hold so far, I do have Will Vest in one of them. I don't know. Not too thrilled. I think Vest, like I said, 75-25. So maybe you're getting 15-ish saves out of Will Vest, but I could be wrong. It could be a 50-50 split. Who knows?
To be fair, in a DC, 15's good. You could take it, especially as his ADP is going to drop now.
Yes.
Now, when you already drafted him, not good, but in the coming days, could pan out pretty nicely. And I agree, Finnegan's awesome. We talked about him last year. I was all in on him before he even signed with the Nationals. Like I figured he'd find the spot to go. So good stuff there for Kyle Finnegan and the Detroit Tigers. Speaking of the Washington Nationals, they traded their closer that took over when Finnegan was traded to Detroit, Jose Ferrer, to the Seattle Mariners, where he'll essentially be splitting setup duties with Matt Brash, most likely, because obviously Andres Munoz beast mode in Seattle. So that opens up a whole can of worms in Washington right now. And we talked before the show, there's Fairbanks and Kenley. Kenley would be really good there, honestly. That's like the perfect spot for Kenley Jansen. Those kind of guys could still sign there. Harry Ford, one of your top prospects, goes to Washington. So I'll give you the floor here because I've kind of made my presence known on the whole Ford situation. Where are you at on this deal as a whole?
I was surprised. I wasn't surprised the Mariners dealt Harry Ford. Obviously, he's blocked. Like you're not going to be a catcher in Seattle, and so I think the market knew. Like Seattle didn't have much leverage here in terms of trying to see what they could get on the open market for Ford. I was just a little surprised at the return, but again, speaking more as a Mariners fan here, I just think relievers, even though Ferrer's, I think pretty decent. Relievers can kind of just be dime a dozen and very inconsistent from year to year. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm from a fantasy standpoint, it'll be interesting to see if the Nationals like Keeper Ruiz versus Harry Ford, if that will be a true battle, if we'll have some DH time in there, who knows? That will play out as spring training comes. And the reliever situation and for Washington, I have no idea. I'd be surprised if Washington signed a closer. I really would. I mean, they don't really spend money anymore.
They bring Finnegan back, so like why wouldn't they go cheap on a? This is where like your Hunter Harveys or somebody gets a spot. This is where those late darts in DCs as your RP 3, 4, 5. All of a sudden, one of them is going to show up with a gig in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at roster resource right now. It's Clayton Beater, Cole Henry,
it's
PJ Poulin. I don't even know who these people are. So
it's congressman or relief pitcher for the Nationals. Go.
Yeah, I mean, it's Connor Pilkington. I've heard of that guy. Good God. Remember him?
Yeah. Well, I remember him. We had some fun with him. Yes,
he's in the pen.
So yeah, I think they'll sign someone, obviously, but just throwing things at the dartboard here. The Mariners are linked as one of like the 6 teams in on Ketel Marte. The D-backs need a closer. Jose Ferrer could easily be part of a deal going back to Arizona.
And never count out old Dipoto.
That's what I'm saying. This could be a 4D chess series, moving pieces. So
would not be surprised. That has happened where I forget who it was. The Mariners traded for someone and later the same day traded him out. It was some outfielder. I forget. That's going to bug me now. Actually, it was a couple years ago.
So yeah, anything's possible with that. So we'll have to wait and see. because there are a handful of teams that still need relief / closing help. There's only like 3 major closers left out there right now. So let's kind of wait and see how that pans out. Other bits of news, real quick. Gregory Soto signs with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got some closing experience in the past. So now we have to decide Soto versus Dennis Santana in Pittsburgh, if you even want to have that discussion.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a hit to Dennis Santana's shares, but Santana, like, I don't know, he's decent. He's not 2.18 ERA, 0.87 or whatever whip good that he had last year, but threw a ton of strikes, got a lot of whiffs. I think Santana is decent. I still think Santana is probably the guy, but at least this gives some doubt because Soto had 30 saves a few years ago, which I completely forgot about that. I don't know.
Yep. He's had his moments in the sun, and he's also had his moments
haven't we all? Haven't we
Yes.
all?
That's a regular day in my neck of the woods. And the other bit of news here, Vaughn Grissom, blast from the past, traded for Chris Sale. How's that feeling, folks?
Yeah.
Vaughn Grissom has been traded to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for the Angels. I believe it was 5th round pick from 2025 or something like that, or 25th prospect. Sounds like I think he's a basketball player is what they found online. Just joking. There's an Indiana Pacer with the same name as him. But Vaughn Grissom, this is kind of intriguing, Ryan, because the Angels are one of those teams where they love these recycled, potentially top prospect guys. They'll give them run.
Mm-hmm.
And Roster Resource has him playing second base. They have Christian Moore playing third with the ghost of Anthony Rendon out of the way there. I could see a world where Vaughn Grissom gets plenty of chances to figure this out.
I can too. We've seen glimpses from Vaughn Grissom in the past, even last year at AAA. I mean, there's 13 homers, 9 steals, 418 plate appearances, decent plate skills, 17% strikeout rate. Like power metrics are probably about league average, and he can run a little bit. So this is a great landing spot to try to at least resurrect your career. This is what the Angels do. They just take all these dudes. And then they get Moniak last year. I'm trying to think of other examples.
They had Moniak
a couple years ago.
They got him a couple years back. They got him and Ohapi in a deal with Philadelphia. They had Keston Hira for a little while. They had Willie Calhoun for a little while.
That's right.
They never gave up on Joe Adele. That worked out. But they love these recycled former top prospects.
And so I think, I actually, in our current draft and hold that we're in, I took Grissom shortly after the news in the, I think, 42nd round. And even in a draft tonight, looking at the ADP tracker, someone took Vaughn Grissom 444 overall, which again, late, but that's, Vaughn Grissom had only been taken in a few other draft and holds for the entirety of a draft. So Vaughn Grissom now becomes, I don't know, like a third middle infield type something if you're in draft and holds right now.
Yeah, ADP 444. That's like your third second baseman off the board. And if he's going to play every day,
that's what he was for me. It was he was my third second baseman in the 42nd round. It's like, sure, he might play. Who knows?
It makes sense at that ADP just because as we're going to talk about picks in the 400 world, it's not great. So
is Vaughn Grissom going to be? Does he qualify for our all?
Not yet, unfortunately, but because he'd be better than either one of our second basemen off the board. So it's definitely a fair conversation. I want to monitor going forward, but he's worthy of that third second baseman role with the potential playing time coming his way. No matter how much people want to make fun of the skills we've seen, there's still skills, and he's young. Like this is the perfect storm. All right. That'll do the news and notes. We'll have more for you later on as the hot stove, the winter meetings wrap up on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. But let's talk about it, Ryan. Picks the 400 ADP, 400 through 499. A couple episodes we did post 500 ADPs, which is 500 to the end. So a much bigger player pool. This has shrunk, which makes things challenging around here. So this will make discussions either pretty good or what are we talking about? I think it's pretty good because these are names that obviously are getting drafted in the 400s. So let's figure it out. Anything you want to talk about before we just go straight into our players?
No, just in terms of, and I guess I'll hit on this when we get to pitchers. I had a very hard time looking for starting pitchers in this like 400 to 500 ADP range. This was a lot harder. Like you said, this is a lot harder team to pick than our 500 plus, just because 500 plus, we've got 250 names to pick. This, we've only got 100. It was difficult to find starting pitching that I liked here. There were a lot more hitters that I liked than starting pitchers. And it's kind of good to go through this exercise and see that it's like, maybe I do want to be 2 pitchers ahead of the rest of the teams in my draft and hold as we enter kind of that 400 range. So something that I'm just kind of tucking away there.
Weirdly enough, as you've noticed the end of my recent draft with you, I don't mind a lot of the starting pitchers in this range.
No, you don't. Well,
or the next 500 picks. I like them all. So.
And you also love all the outfielders.
So yeah,
literally,
I don't mind these. Like, I'm going to try to lock up my infield before we get to pick 400.
If anyone is in this draft with us, and there are a few listeners who are in this draft with us, look at Bubba's rounds 26 through 45. This is almost half the draft. Every single little player color, dude, except for one, is green or yellow, which means outfield or pitcher. From round 26 to 45.
And the one that's not is a catcher.
And the one that's not is Keeper Ruiz.
Yeah, who just keeps falling because people love Harry Ford. Like, I'm fine with that. Yeah. So yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. Apparently, that's good. Yeah. So we'll kick it off. We'll stick it off with catchers, Ryan. I'll let you go first here because I almost picked the guy you took, honestly. But what do you got here for catcher? Like, what ADP are you using, by the way, so I can reference the same thing?
I went with the ADP tracker last month. ADP last 30 days and 15 teamers.
Pull that up then. Okay, then kick us off with what you got for catcher.
I went Kyle Higashioka. I just think if you're waiting deep for a second catcher, you're looking for playing time or your first backup. And I think Higgy's got the gig. Jonah Heim has been booted. Higgy's an old, that also helps, age 36. So we actually had his baseball forecaster box and ended it with respectable number 2 catcher, decent pop, batting average that won't kill you. And I think when you're looking at catchers here, I'm either going to do something like that, or I'm going to take, as we talked about on a previous show, take some catching prospect where all he needs is playing time. So I'm going to take one of those 2 paths. And for me, it's Kyle Higashioka.
Yeah, no, I like Higgy, especially when Jonah Heim got the axe. That opens up even more love for Higashioka. So I'm with you there. Big fan of that one at that point in the draft. If you wait on catchers, not the worst thing, especially when it comes to catcher 3. I like it even more. For me, I'm going with the Goose's backup. And with the Goose's poor catching skills, there's a world where the Goose becomes the first baseman / DH in Miami, which opens the world for the return of the Mac, Joe Mac, to Miami here. And I think there's a lot to like with this. Martin talked about him quite a bit on Benched with Bubba and the prospects of the National League. But Joe Mac at between AA and AAA last year, 21 homers, 9 steals at 257. That's kind of got a little bit of a Goose vibe to it. Not as much speed, but dude's hit 20 home runs in back-to-back seasons at the minor league level. There is a lot of swing and miss. That is a concern. He's also a better defensive catcher than Goose, so that's what will help him get into the position. I think there's a world where you see Mac and Goose in a lot of lineups together at some point, maybe even the second half of the season. So I'd prefer him as a catcher 4, but you're going to take him as a catcher 3. And I think there's a lot of viability in Mr. Joe Mac out of Miami.
So we may have a little issue with this pick because I took Liam Hicks in our draft and hold, the 38th round. Yeah. Granted, Liam Hicks is catcher and first base, so maybe there's some first base playing time. But I guess my question back to you would be, like, do we think Mac could be the backup right away, or is it Liam Hicks at the beginning, Mac later on in the season type deal? Or is Hicks just not in the mix anymore?
Nah, I think it's more of a second half of the season thing with Mac, unless they really want to escalate things, which they could. Goose got more run than I thought he was going to get last year.
Yeah. Yep.
So they could do it with Hicks. Like, there's a legit world where he plays first base because right now they have Graham Pauley at first base. Like, as much as we want to make and Pauley's a shot in the dark for power, but as much as we want to make fun of Liam Hicks, He is only 26, doesn't have a ton of pop, but actually hits for average, which if you look at this Marlins lineup, they need someone to do that because most of these guys outside of like Xavier Edwards, like Kyle Stowers is hit or miss. Goose, average wise, not ideal. Like Griffin Conine, you just go down the list. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not a lot of guys that are going to drive guys in or get on base a lot, probably. So, yeah,
No.
like Liam Hicks, I could see having some viability there, but in the end, Mac's the guy I think they want behind the dish.
All right. Yeah, just throwing that out there.
No, I get it because I've looked at Liam Hicks a lot. I had some late DC shares last year when he was rumored to be around, and heck, he was a 15-team fab guy from time to time, like especially when he went to Coors late in the year. So, totally get it. First base, this was not the best. I'll say that much because a lot of questions here. So, who did you go with? Because I was looking at him, but he needs a home still.
Yeah, Ryan Mountcastle. I think he's with Baltimore.
Oh,
Isn't
he's
he?
back
He's
in
just,
Baltimore. He is. Yeah, he's
but
buried
he
in
needs
Baltimore.
he might need a
New home.
he
Yes.
might need a new home.
Yep.
Or he might need a starting job. So we'll see. I think it might come down to Ryan Mountcastle versus Kobe Mayo. Who knows what Baltimore's going to do there? But I think Ryan Mountcastle. New injuries have gotten in the way there, but power rebounded nicely last year. Barrel rate went back up to 12%, even though he hit only 7 homers and 357 plate appearances. Like, not great at all, but the power skills were actually semi-decent. And I just think this is still someone age 29 season. He's young enough where I don't think Ryan Mountcastle, even in if the stars align, I don't think he can get back to 2021 where he hit 33 homers and hit 255. But could Mountcastle do something like 2022? Hit 250 with 22 homers, with some decent counting stats in what I think will be a better lineup. Sure. But yeah, you're definitely gambling on the playing time here. There's a chance that Ryan Mountcastle kind of falls back into a even short side platoon if they decide to go with Mayo or some others there.
Yeah, no, I was debating him quite a bit just for the power upside that he brings to the table. I went with Josh Bell here. I left first base open thinking you were going to take Josh Bell, but you did not because you've taken him in a recent draft, I believe. But
did I take him in our draft?
It was either ours or your first one. I remember seeing you with a Josh Bell share. We talked about.
Yeah, I do. I've taken Josh Bell. I love this pick.
I always love Josh Bell, and he's a guy that, again, free agent this year, but he's like the perfect fit for a lot of bad teams to come in. He hits like 250-ish, give or take. He's going to get you close to 20-plus home runs. His OBP skills are good. He's just that veteran bat that does it from both sides of the plate. It seems like every offseason we're wondering, where's Josh Bell going to play? And he finds it. Like, there's 3 years in a row he's traded, 3 straight years. He's still only 33. He's not even that old. He's had at least 500 plate appearances in every season outside of 2020 and his rookie year 2016. So, again, he'll find at bats. So when you're talking around in the 400s as a first base, which is a position that isn't great to begin with, I'll take my chances there because I had Josh Bell draft and hold shares last year, and you play him way more than you think you're going to.
Absolutely.
In the end, he's like the newer version of Carlos Santana, basically.
Yeah. For as much as I lambasted you over Carlos Santana last year, that's actually a decent comp. I like this pick. I just think this screams free agent discount. And yeah, Josh Bell's not the best player anymore, but he has real life value. It's been like a 325 OBP last 2 years with like low 20s homers. It's not great, but a team's it could be the Marlins. I mean, just someone that just needs a body at first base. It's not going to cost much. I think you're getting a starting first baseman and someone who is half decent and outside the top 400. I think that's a pretty good deal there. If he can scoop some Josh Bell, I would take Bell over Mountcastle actually.
All right. I love your second base pick just for all the flack I took last year. The fact you made this pick, the floor is yours, Ryan. I can't wait to hear your explanation here because I'll probably fully agree with it, but just to hear you say these words is going to be music to my ears.
All this is.
Oh, don't say it's because it's pick 400. Don't give me that blah, blah, blah. Why are you picking him?
Well, the title of the episode, Bubba, is 400 ADP team. So I think that does play a little bit. But this is your guy. This is Zach Geloff. This is absolutely your dude here. It's Zach Geloff. And really all this is outside of the ADP is I just think you've got someone who's still 26 years old who has 2024 kind of in that back pocket. I think the power speed is legit. I think he's got a starting role, and I think the lineup and ballpark are really good. I just think the situation is right for a Zach Geloff bounce back. Is he going to hurt your batting average? Absolutely. The plate skills, the plate approach is truly atrocious. But things are so thin at second base post 400 that anytime you can get someone who's young, who's been good before, and who has a job and has good team context, that's 4 pretty good boxes to check. And you're doing that this late. So I'll take a stab at Zach Geloff. Why not?
I love it. I love it. No, I agree with all of it. Like, I liked him last year. Maybe the injuries slowed him down. Like you said, the average isn't going to be there, but you could treat him as your second base 3. Like, treat him like he's a Rocky. Play him only when he's in Sacramento. Like, play him for those weeks, because if they have the schedule like last year, it's a full week at a time, which makes life pretty easy. And just reap the home discount if you can. So I'm with you there. Just for fun, since we talked about it, would you rather go for a Zach Geloff bounce back in the 400s or Vaughn Grissom's new ADP?
That's a decent question, actually. I will go
We've
right
been doing
now.
this for many
I'll go
episodes.
Geloff. I'll go Geloff.
Yes, I would too, because at least we know kind of what we're getting there. For me, I'm going to a guy with second base, third base eligibility, and Casey Schmidt of the San Francisco Giants. Hit 237 last year, 252 the year before, so average might be a question. Power started to develop a bit last year, which was good. More importantly, we're looking for roles right now. Buster Posey at the winter meetings, and again, take everything with grains of salt this time of the year. But he said when they asked him if they're going to address their middle infield situation, which obviously does not mean Willie Adames. That's just a reporter's nice way of saying second base.
Second base.
Yeah, it's just the reporter's nice way of saying it. Buster Posey says, as a team, or basically in a roundabout way, as a franchise, we were very happy with the development Casey Schmidt has, and the job is his to lose.
Okay.
So that was a pretty, because Buster, I don't think he's developed the BS machine that most GMs have yet. Buster's been pretty straight up on everything so far. We'll see how long that lasts, but just hearing that, okay, so back to our pick 400, he's got a roll. Like, I could see something here, and plus he's second base, third base. He's that MICI we're looking for as this draft goes on, that could play throughout the season as well.
And looking at like the available second baseman in free agency, not much.
Not
like
much.
Yeah, Bo Bichette, if you could try and play Bo Bichette there if
They're
they
not
wanted
paying
to.
him.
They go that route. I doubt it. Agree. You've got like Jorge Polanco, I think is more DH at this point than second base. Gleyber Torres has already been signed. Miguel Rojas. I'm already too far down the list.
Rojas has already re-signed with the
and
Dodgers.
He's already
anyways.
re-signed. Yeah. So
that's how Marte's market's so big. Like, there's nothing out there. Like, he's
That's I have bolded Casey. He's not on my radar at all. Plus, you get the second base, third base eligibility, which in draft and hold is very nice right now.
Yep. Yeah, but man, it's almost like Bloomfield's liking my pick so far. This is scary. Shortstop, I like your pick quite a bit, and it's a homer pick, but it's at this point in the draft is definitely worth taking.
It's a homer pick. Shortstop's pretty brutal at this point. It is a non-Bloomfield pick in terms of it's a youth, but it's it's a youngin. It's Colt Emerson, and I almost kind of put him down at third base, but I put him at shortstop because that's where he qualifies and that's where he's been playing. Colt Emerson's super young, so there's a chance that this just doesn't work out. But I think there are rumblings that Seattle loves Colt Emerson to the point where they, from what I've heard, are looking at moving him to third base this year to get him in the lineup. And that would make sense because Seattle has a glaring hole at third base unless they re-sign Eugenio Suarez or go somewhere else in free agency. I don't think you can roll into the season with like Ben Williamson as your third baseman if you want to be a contender. Same can be said for like Colt Emerson. Like, it could be it's a very low floor when you've got someone who's going to be 20 years old, potentially start on your team. But I don't know. Colt Emerson's my pick. I think this guy could be an absolute stud. 161 plate appearances at AA. Even got a cup of coffee in AAA at the end of last season, 27 plate appearances. So I don't think he's that far off. And I don't know if Colt Emerson starts on opening day at third base. I think that would be a stretch, but maybe the Mariners try and patch something together at the position halfway through the year, say that, you know what, let's just try it. And so I think Colt Emerson will be up at some point in 2026. And I think if he can be up, those skills will translate very well.
Yep, that was one of my takeaways with Eric Cross the other day, is that Colt Emerson's real close and the third base thing is a real possibility. So
Yep.
I like that as well, because then now you're talking MICI again, like we talked about with Casey Schmidt, which goes a long, long ways. And that's a trend in this world, because I just want to give a head up, like over the last 10 drafts, the last month in FBC, DCs, here's your shortstops to pick from here: Joey Ortiz, Jared Triolo, Carson Williams, Colt Emerson, Brian Rocchio, Javi Baez, Gabriel Arias. That's it. That's it.
It's brutal.
Yeah. And so you took Emerson, which I like. I took Javi Baez, and we've talked about him on a previous show. It's for a couple reasons. Yeah, it's Javi Baez. I get it, but he still played 126 games with the Tigers last year, which I think probably surprises many. He hit 257, which was great. He even mentioned a little bit of change at the plate. 12 homers, 5 steals, 55 runs, 57 RBIs. Like, nothing jumps off the board, but 437 plate appearances. I'll take that in a heartbeat. And you look at the other factor that stands out tremendously: shortstop, third base, outfield. MICI, outfield. That is draft champions gold. No matter, like, you can't be complete garbage, but the stat line I gave you with Javi Baez, with that flexibility, where maybe you play him 10 weeks out of the entire season, he's probably not hurting you when all things are said and done. And that goes a long ways, especially after I read you guys off all the options to pick from at shortstop. It stood out even more to me. Like, yes, Javi Baez is a guy that I actually already have like 2 shares of. I took him in the draft we're in right now. I will make it. He's one of those green ones you saw,
stickers.
Ryan. Yes,
right.
but he's flexible to go elsewhere. Yes, that's the thing Ryan left out with all my green picks. Like 3 or 4 of them are multi-position guys. So yeah, we can keep going with that.
Just shocking to see 20 in a row, just green and yellow.
It's a gift. At least it's not 50, because then I'd be ineligible. All right, this is, man, we thought shortstop was bad, Ryan. What do you got for third base?
Yeah, third base not great either. I'm going Ronnie Mauricio, despite being kind of pulled around a little bit in his first season. I think you're getting a little bit of like a post-hype kind of prospect discount type deal here with Ronnie Mauricio. And yes, there are playing time concerns here. I think and we'll see what the Mets decide to do about Pete Alonso. But I think moving Mark Vientos over to first, if Alonso does not re-sign with the Mets, is probably likely to happen. If that happens, that could free up a spot for Ronnie Mauricio. Now, who knows? Maybe that's Brett Beatty's spot and they go back into a platoon. But Mauricio is pretty versatile, so we'll see. I just think this is someone 25 years old. Skills weren't like that bad in his MLB debut, and you're getting him at this late of a pick. So it's a little bit of, I mean, the floor is very low. Like, Mauricio could be in the minors and you're getting nothing from this spot for a good chunk of the season. But I think there's also, like, if Ronnie Mauricio settles into a semi-regular job here, you never know when these guys with all this prospect pedigree, when it starts to pop off for him. And I just think you're getting, this isn't the, the prospect shine is worn off a little bit with Mauricio, and thus the price is pretty cheap.
Yeah, I don't hate it. The Mets did come out today and say Brett Beatty has shown the improvements and deserves to be the third baseman, but we've heard that before.
Did not see that.
It's in the Discord. But yeah, I agree though with the Mauricio part, because like,
great,
once top prospect, or one of the top not the top, but one of their top prospects, you're not going to just give up. You shouldn't just give up on the guy. Like, we've seen teams do that, but I think there's a world, if he can produce, they're going to find a spot to him, to your point. And like, in reality, we said it even last year, just get Jeff McNeil out of there. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why is Jeff McNeil still a thing?
Yeah, the Semien thing, blocking second base hurts too. So
that does hurt as well. Like, they need to make a trade, like between Mauricio, Luis Angel Acuna. They have a lot of young
that's
players.
Your boy.
That
yeah.
Well, I like his skills. They just have too many guys with nowhere to go right now. And that's what makes it tough there in New York. That's where, like, yeah, Pete Alonso makes sense to go back there, but they have enough guys. They don't need to. Like, their money could go elsewhere at the same time. So it's weird, but we're not GMs. All right, I already have 2 third basemen in Casey Schmidt and Javi Baez, so I probably wouldn't be fishing in this world, but I have to give you guys a pick. I'm gonna go with Brian
This
Hayes.
guy sucks.
Yeah, but he's got the starting gig. Now, should he have the starting gig? Probably not, but he does. So we're gonna go with that. The other thing I'll throw out there, the dude's got double-digit steals in 4 straight years, almost 5 straight, 9 in 2021. So he's got a little bit of speed for you. You know, he's shit. The average is not great. The power, like 2023, 15 homers, 10 steals, 271. Can we find some semblance of that? That'd be great because he's only 29. It's not like he's ancient. Projections have him for 12, hitting 250. I'd take that right now at this ADP. So it's just kind of it's a playing time. He's young. It's a good ballpark. Can he figure it out? It's not a great spot to pick from, but I picked Brian Hayes. I don't know how many Brian Hayes shares I'll have, but it's one of those that's still so hard to quit a guy that had that promise at one point in time.
Yeah, I get the, like, there's actually a pretty decent chance Brian Hayes outperforms Mauricio just from a playing time aspect alone. It's just, I mean, the problem is, and I'm not going to barrage your picks here at post 400. It's just, man, you get a lot of volume with just empty, a whole lot of nothing with Brian Hayes. But you never know. But
he's more of a break glass in case of emergency pick. Like your goal is to never start Brian Hayes throughout the entire season, but he's there if you need him.
Sucks. Like he was a promising dude a few years ago with the Pirates, and just
I remember
he had the back issues and just derailed everything.
I remember a long time ago having James Anderson on a bench with Bubba. I think it was the year he was supposed to make his debut, and James and many other prospects, it wasn't just James, prospect guys, like Brian was the next 2020 just lock up prospect, and health has not been his friend.
Yep, agreed.
All right, let's head to the outfielder. We have two picks each, and as you know, I love the outfield in this area, so this was easy for me. Who do you have as your first outfielder?
I love how you made your pick, and then we just basically gave him a funeral.
Yeah,
Brian Hayes. So I'm going to go. This is probably a strong side platooner, but at this point, that's fine. I think this is a strong side platoon bat that's going to play. That's CJ Kayfus in Cleveland. Showed some pretty good. Like there were definitely issues in the majors, like 4 homers, 220 batting average, and 138 plate appearances. Not great, but was again, this is a first, foray against MLB pitching. Not everyone is going to just to hit the ground running and have that minor league success carry over. So CJ Kayfus had a really good minor league season, even had 4 steals with Cleveland. So there could be a running game there. Still showed, I think, some decent raw power there, and I think the playing time, at least to start, Cleveland's not a team that goes out and makes splashes and whatnot. I think they like CJ Kayfus. I'll take Kayfus. I think this is a guy you can kind of plug in, maybe get some power, speed, and who knows if he does figure out kind of the second go around against major league pitching and some of that minor league success does translate over. This could be a, I'm not calling for a major breakout or anything, but could be a valuable piece when you need like a 5th outfielder or something like that during the season.
Yeah, don't mind Kayfus. Don't mind usually a lot of the late Guardians players because they're just not projected to do great, but they're going to play a ton in it. So if they find their way
shortstops like what's his name?
Brian Rocchio. Yeah. We just talked about him. Gabriel Arias. Like a lot of the Guardians guys are down here, and there's a reason for it. But at the same time, they're also young. That you never know if one thing starts to click. To your point, so I could see that with Kayfus as well. For me, I'm going to pick a guy that I think both of us are pretty much interested in at this point in time, and that's Andrew Benintendi. We've talked about him before. Like the average has gone to the wayside because he's traded it in for power back-to-back 20 home run seasons for Benny Biceps. Doesn't run either. He hit 240 this last year with 20 homers. I'll take that right now. He plays every day that he's healthy. He had a lot of injuries last year, but he's going to rack up the plate appearances for the White Sox unless he gets traded. Like this is just it's potentially a starting outfielder past pick 400, which becomes your outfielder like 6, 7, something like that. If the way I draft outfielder 9, there's lots of ways around that. But yeah, Benny Biceps and that power upside with playing time, I'll sign up for all day.
It's my favorite pick of any pick tonight is Benny Biceps. I will have a lot of Andrew Benintendi to the surprise of nobody.
Yeah, you didn't get him in this draft though.
No, you did. I think I have him in my other two though. So
Yeah, you're good. Who's your other outfielder who this makes sense? One of your boys.
yeah, I've always liked this guy. I talked about him a ton on the Fab Show. Just kind of a pretty decent 5 category contributor. That's Wenzel Perez in Detroit. I think that the only risk here is he's not that great against right-handed pitching, so there's maybe some risk of a short side platoon with Wenzel Perez. But I don't know. I think last year 13 homers, 8 steals, 244 batting average, and 383 plate appearances. Like missed a ton of time with some core issues, but I think when on the field, Wenzel Perez is pretty damn good. Like the power skills are above average. He runs a little bit and doesn't strike out like that much. So I think the whole package is here for someone who can kind of do a little bit of everything, play and be a solid outfield 7 or 6 or 10 if you're Bubba.
Yep, if he gets playing time, he's definitely going to be viable in Detroit. I'm going with a youngster here, an Owen Cassie of the Chicago Cubs. Right now, looks like they're not bringing Kyle Tucker back. Rumor has it they're not signing many outfielders right now, and they've said that they want to give him some run this year. We'll believe it when I see it, but because his cup of coffee last year was short, so I'm not even really 12 games, 27 plate appearances, strikeout through the roof, 41%. But at AAA, 22 homers, 5 steals at 286. Throughout the minors, he showcased some power and some speed with good average. Going to be 23 years old. If he does get that starting gig, I love the upside we can get here with Owen Cassie. So I'll take my chance on it. I'm not a big, prospect guy here. Like I got Joe Mack on the list and now Owen Cassie, but past pick 400, I'll start taking some shots.
Hanging around with Sokolsky and Cross a little bit too much lately, my friend.
Oh, I haven't even gotten frisky enough for that yet.
Let's see if the playing time's there. Let's see if the playing time's there.
That was ringing right there. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to starting pitchers then. At that rate, I love it.
Scott Kingery's on the Cubs. Good.
Yeah,
hell.
he got picked up as a minor league pickup. Scott Kingery.
God, if you're a Cubs fan, like, I'm derailing it. You got to be pretty frustrated. Good God.
Mm-hmm. Especially watching the White Sox build their farm system. They just got the number 1 pick in the draft this upcoming year, which apparently it's a locked in, no doubt number 1 pick, according to many. It's going well for the White Sox and not so much for the Cubs.
The Pope's,
but they got great counsel for a lot of money last year, so that's good. That's what they said. The Pope, the Bears keep winning, and now the White Sox get the top pick. Whew. Watch out, folks. All right, let's go to starting pitcher, where this is Ryan through and through.
Yeah, this is bad, man. Justin Verlander. I can barely get it out, man. He's gonna be 40. He's 43 years old.
I just bit my tongue so hard on that right now.
He's only a year. Like there's everything about Phillip Rivers and like the first grandpa to play in the NFL. Verlander's only a year younger. Good God.
Verlander's one of the only players older than me right now in baseball.
I mean, he's old.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think he's gonna. I mean, do you think he's gonna sign? I don't think he's done.
Well, the report today, the Giants' 3 targets for pitchers are Chris Bassett, Justin Verlander, and Max Scherzer. So let you know how I'm feeling about things.
That's my late DC target list.
Well, the first 2 we're about to talk about are 2 of the 3. So yeah,
I think I have a team with Verlander and Scherzer.
I would guarantee it.
I mean, for Verlander, going back to San Francisco would be ideal. In my opinion, it probably wouldn't be ideal for San Francisco, but it'd be ideal
I'd be okay with it
for Justin Verlander. Like I mean, I don't know. The guy still misses bats. Threw 94 last year. Through strikes, like a 13% K to walk. That's almost league average. And if you can pick your spots and stream at home, if he goes back to the Giants and good matchups, this is not a pick you're going to rely on, hopefully, to start every single time out. So I think if you can pick your spots with Verlander, and I'm confident he's going to sign somewhere. I think this is someone that you can probably start 8 to 10 times in a season and get pretty good numbers out of.
Yep, I don't hate that as well. I'm going Chris Bassett. This is a guy I want the Giants to sign. He is older than I thought. He's going to be 37 this year. but
There
it's
we go.
170 or more innings in 4 straight seasons, 150 in 5 straight. Ratios are usually pretty good. It's been below 4 and 4 out of the last 5 seasons,
Yep.
which is strong. Strikeouts are still serviceable. It's like 160 or more Ks in 5 straight seasons. Like he checks a lot of the boxes for what you're looking for. The whip is a disaster, which fits perfectly for my team. But other than that, like he's going to eat innings, which a lot of teams will need, and that's perfect for DCs at this point. And like if he signs with the Giants, I'd be pumped. That'd be a good move for them. So give me Chris Bassett. That's a guy I've been targeting quite a bit in these drafts.
Yeah, I had Seabass's baseball forecaster box and said minimal ceiling, but safe to count on innings eating once more. I think that's probably fair. If you get a ton of volume of average ratios like that, I think that's it. I probably would take Bassett over Verlander actually.
Yes, I would as well. I want to get your thoughts on your next pick because I just don't know what to do with him in every draft room I'm in.
Well, he's coming off back surgery, I think.
This is why. Yes.
So, yeah. I shouldn't laugh. You're probably going to be next. You're going to be with Eflin.
Yeah, dude, I wish. Give me that paycheck. I'll get my back cut on.
Yeah. I think it was August back surgery. So you might be missing a month, 2 months, maybe more with Zach Eflin. But again, with these picks, I don't really, if I'm not getting much in the first half from these guys, presumably the rest of my rotation is somewhat healthy in the first half. And I need to count on these post 400 guys in the second half once I have the little red X's, red cross symbols next to half my rotation. That's hopefully what I'm counting on with Zach Eflin, is I'm kind of writing off the first half for Eflin and hoping that we get half a season of what we've seen from Eflin in 2023 and 2024. And I think this will be Eflin's age 32 season. So I still think, as long as the back holds up, and who knows with back surgeries, how that still a wild card. It's not 100% chance to fix anything, but I think if I can get, 80% of what Zach Eflin was over the last 4 months of the season, something like that, that's kind of the angle that I'm taking with this pick.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you need to do at this point is kind of what can I get from a shortened season? How does he rate out with other guys? It's a fair point, especially the deeper we get. A lot of these are spec moves as it is. So if you believe he can come back for 4-ish months, then that's just fine when he gets it done. So don't hate it. I want to get your thoughts because I haven't really heard anything on the status of Zach Eflin.
Whenever you can pair a 43-year-old starter with someone recovering from back surgery on your team, got to do it.
Yeah, that's why you got to draft all pitchers late in the draft. For me, I'm going to go with one of my guys, Cade Povich. Huge Cade Povich fan. Talked about him plenty in the past. I even kind of had you quasi buying in, it feels like, at times. He'll be 26 this year. We saw 112 innings last year, which was big. ERA wasn't great, but the underlying metrics were actually pretty good for Cade Povich. Decent ground ball stuff. Swing and miss could be better. It was better before. There's a lot of good with Cade Povich. There's a lot of he's young and inconsistent with Cade Povich at the same time, but it's a profile that I'm looking at the upside of this arm, a guy that we've seen throw really, really well in the past between the minors and spots in the bigs, and again, super young. So I'll take my chances there with Cade Povich at this point in the draft, who currently has a spot in the Orioles rotation as well, which bodes well for this point making a pick.
Yeah, I think I don't want to say it's chewing for the rotation, but there's a good chance. I think Povich starts in the rotation. We talked about Povich a little bit a few episodes ago too, about just the fact that he's a lefty, that he's a competent left-handed pitcher. You're going to get, just by virtue of him being lefty, you're going to get, maybe a third of his starts are pretty juicy starts. So you can always play that angle with Cade Povich. You don't have to start him, similar to my point with Zach Eflin. You don't have to start these guys all 32. If you can squeeze 8 to 10 out of them, you'll be good there.
Yeah, that's the goal with most of these picks. These guys aren't your everyday dudes. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, now it's all about specking on saves. Ryan, who's your relief pitcher in the 400 world?
Well, he was our favorite nickname of 2025. Got to go back to the well and go with Dr. Foucher, the good doctor, Calvin Fauché. Let's see if Ronnie Enriquez kind of takes the closer job in Miami and runs with it. I think Enriquez is the better pitcher, but Calvin Fauché got 15 saves for the Miami Marlins last year. And if he can get 15 more saves this season, I highly doubt, for what I said at the top about the Nationals not spending on a closer, I highly doubt the Marlins will spend on a closer. So I think you can squeeze double-digit saves out of Calvin Fauché. The hard part is trying to time it. I remember having Fauché on a bunch of my teams last year, and I'd start him, sit him. You're going to miss out on some saves that way. So just be aware of that. But I think this is someone who's at least in the ninth inning mix, and you're not really counting on an injury or something to happen. Like Fauché is, I think, one of the two guys in Miami.
Yep, should be one of the two guys, barring something crazy taking place there. So don't hate it at all. It comes back to like we talked about with Will Vest earlier. Like in reality, he doesn't fall probably into the 400s, but Vest I could see in the 300s, honestly, if Finnegan is that guy. And it's just you're hoping for a handful of saves and seeing where it goes. And Fauché might have a better hold in the job than Will Vest does, to the point of the end point of that conversation. For me, I'm going Luke Weaver. And I remember when I put this on, Ryan's like, what? Here's my reasoning. Luke Weaver, once he became a relief pitcher 2 years ago, has been filthy. The strikeout rates have gone up tremendously. The ERAs have been very serviceable. The ratios have been around 1. This is a guy that filled in as a closer from time to time in the Bronx. He had 8 saves last year. He got hurt. Then they made a bunch of trades. Stuff happened there. He's a free agent that has been rumored to a handful of teams. Like the Giants are looking for back-end help. It's like Fairbanks, Weaver, and I think Finnegan are like the main targets there. So one's gone. Weaver would fit perfectly for a team that doesn't want to spend a ton of money but wants a closer. That's why I said like the Nationals, the Rangers, a lot of those type of teams, Weaver fits perfectly in those molds. At worst, he gets you good ratios, tons of strikeouts. He gets a bunch of wins as well in the back end. He had 7 wins 2 years ago, 4 wins this past year. Like he's going to help you out a lot when all things are said and done. Like 2 years ago, he had 103 strikeouts out of the bullpen for the New York Yankees. This is a very, very talented reliever that could be next man up on a lot of teams wherever he signs. So it's a pure spec play that maybe he lands a closing gig by signing with the Nationals or somebody. At worst, he gets a setup gig and might run into some saves, I think. So big upside, I think, with Luke Weaver.
Yeah, and Bednar is no given to. He's been
he's a free agent. He won't be there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
Camilo Duvall's the guy to get. Camilo Duvall's the guy to get there.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, leaving Yankee Stadium. I mean, it was a 55% fly ball rate for Luke Weaver last year. So that's you want to get. It's very much park dependent. So we'll see. But yeah, man, I think you're right. Misses a ton of bats. It's been different guys since he moved to the pen. So yeah, we'll see.
Yep, just pure speculation at that point in time. Well, there you go, Ryan. What are your thoughts on the 400 range? Because that is like I like the pitching in the outfielders. You're not the biggest fan of that world. A lot of multi-position infielders if you're looking for that. And catching, I almost want to have a catcher 3 before the pick 400.
Yeah, I don't know. We could field a team of like, at least if I'm taking kind of our favorites between the two, you get Higgy at first, Josh Bell or Higgy at catcher, Josh Bell at second, Geloff at first. Josh Bell at first, Geloff at second. Yeah. You could go with upside Emerson or Javi Baez
you could do Emerson at short, Baez at third.
Could do that. Third base is freaking brutal, so I like the Casey Schmidt call. Since he qualifies for third, even though he's not going to play there. I think outfield, you could piece something together with like a Benintendi, Wenzel Perez type, and then pitching's just, I like Bassett. You could stream Povich a little bit, and who knows, maybe take a shot on Weaver. So I think you could build like a half decent kind of squad out of this. And that's kind of the point of this exercise. Like, we're looking for a topic for today. And like selfishly, this is where I start to kind of struggle in my drafting holds, is like try and find some of these guys. So I think it's good to kind of go through all this and at least find a few names we can bold on our sheet here and target the rest of the way for drafting holds.
And it's interesting. I pulled up Luke Weaver on the draft tracker, and in the most recent DC, he was picked at 327. He's been pretty much in the 400s the entire draft season, but someone, not sure who, jumped the gun on that one, which is fine. Not knocking them, but it says something. Just real quick, latest risers and fallers. Just wanted to. We don't need to go deep into this, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Ryan. It was primarily relievers. That has not changed.
That has not changed. Let's see,
Well, on
5,
the
6,
on the risers
7.
part, the fallers, we got a lot of hitters falling actually.
Well, yeah. Someone's got to. If someone rises, someone else has to fall. And that's usually what happens. It's like your closers rise, and then the hitters just kind of generally sink down a little bit after that. But yeah, it looks like 8 of the top 9 risers are relief pitchers over the last 7 days, and the other one, the non-pitcher, was discussed heavily on the RotoWire podcast this past week.
Yep.
And I think that's the only reason why Connor Griffin is one of the top. He's by far the top hitting riser over the last week, going at a price of 202 for that ADP. Connor Griffin is.
I'll be curious to watch these going forward because Finnegan should keep rising, obviously. But like Jose Ferrer, you'd imagine he'd fall more.
Yeah.
As that takes place.
Yep.
On the faller side of things, it is interesting to me. It's like some of these are minor falls, all things considered.
Yep.
But one name that stands out a ton is Freddie Freeman's dropping down to almost out of round 5 now, which is nuts for Freddie Freeman.
It's a damn shame, man. It's a damn shame.
You got to love it. You got to be happy as can be because he's getting cheaper and cheaper for you.
It's also interesting to see Kevin McGonigal dropping a little bit as well, the same position there. But yeah, I took Freddie Freeman in our current draft in the 5th round, early 5th. So he's not falling because of me, Bubba.
No. Then I will say just a quick glimpse at the 12-teamers. It's still closers, but there's more hitters in the 12s than in the 15s that are rising. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just like it's not. I just wanted to admit it's not all closers. That's more of a 15 because 15s they're more scarce. So 12s they're still scarce, but obviously you can mix and match some more. You got actually a few catchers on the rise in the 12-teamer, which is interesting to me.
The 12s, we'll learn how to pronounce his full name after the Thursday episode, but Tetsuya Imai is one of the top risers in the 12s, and we'll get a ton more info on him from our good friend, Old Tom on Thursday.
Yes, Old Tom. We'll see what he's got going on, but we'll wrap it up there. Good exercise in the 400s. You compare those with the 500s. Almost like we're not going to do another episode on it, but like January 1st, I'd like to do a post 500 again to see how things have changed. Just because I guarantee you it'll be different. But we don't have time for that as we're going to keep ramping things up. Again, no live show on Thursday. It'll come out later that night for you guys to get some more HQ forecaster / got your foreign player information for you and some other stuff on the show. But until then, check out Ryan on Twitter at RyanBHQ, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom. I'm at BD Intric, and this was Bubba and the Bloom, episode 301. Catch y'all later.